Mountains upon mountains of appeals from the people. How many days will this take to sort?
After all the trouble you took to flee politics. And somehow you're now the preeminent ladyship of your house. Such is fate.
Despite everything, this year has passed in surprising peace, hasn't it? Honestly, with the royal scepter disappearing like that, I feared more dissent.
Perhaps after Luis, they swore they could never let that happen again. Either way, more and more are dealing with conflicts calmly and openly. Promising.
It promises that I'll have an eternally cluttered desk.
Here, Your Majesty. I've brought in the next load. And there we go. Not half bad, right? Hey! Isn't the king supposed to be here?
When did he? I've said countless times not to leave unannounced.
Oh, all this decoration doesn't suit me. How would Luis and Forden put up with all this damn finery? Your Majesty? Are you here? Juna's back from her inspection.
Apologies, Troll. I'll look for him now.
Wait! I'm coming with you!
Oh, good grief. Some things never change. Not that they should.
I'd say life has changed plenty for us. Yet somehow our captain's same as he ever was.
And then, well, I might have got a bit too fresh with them stuck-up sanctists. But those bloody church folk been looking down on us for years, you know? Still, it was other sanctists what stepped in to keep things peaceable too. I reckon they're not all bad. Guess me cogs turning. They lost both their Santifex and the Saint Lady last year. Got their own struggles, I expect. Not like it excuses all of them or makes me want to go up and shake a sanctor's hand, but you really put some perspective on it.
I believe you'll come to understand them.
You know what, lad? You're all right. You ever need some good, honest work? I'll get you squared, eh?
I should have known you'd be wandering around without your escorts again. How is it, being able to hear the city's honest thoughts? If you told them you're the king, it'd knock them sideways. Sorry you ended up coming all this way. Maria's actually out on an errand right now.
And I suppose I'll wait until she comes back.
You sure? That girl always ends up on detours. No telling how long she'll be. Either way, best keep your head down. You know what happens when you're too obvious about this. Sooner or later, the Lady Captain of the Royal Guard...
Oh, there you are! I knew we'd find you here, for crying out loud!
Phew. So you were here.
Speak of the devil.
Let us return, Your Majesty. And I thought I had informed you that Juna would be back from her expedition today.
I suppose I have no choice.
What is it? You have unfinished business. 'Tis settled. I shall come with you on every excursion.
Not dressed like that, you won't. You know how we like snooping around, inconspicuously.
Point taken.
He'll be fine. His Majesty is not about to fall prey to some alleyway scandal, surely. Right, Your Majesty. If you see Maria about, do slow down for a chat. She'll be shattered if she finds out she just missed you.
Fine. Now, Your Majesty, once your business here is finished, please make sure you return to the palace with all swiftness.
Oh, hello there. Oh, right. I suppose now I should call you Your Majesty. You know, I was just telling Papa, even through all that mess, everyone's really been working hard.
Am I keeping my promise properly from back then?
Yes, you beat the villain, and now the city's full of smiles. And I'm sure Papa's smiling down on you too.
That's good. Hearing that from you really lifts my heart.
Don't worry. I'll try to do my part with what I've got. I want to help everyone understand that the world could be a better place if we can join hands with one another. Miss Fabian's fed so many hungry people since things changed. Some of those people even said they found their place there. I think I did too. If we can all change together for the better like that, we'll be closer to your Majesty's and Papa's dream. And I want to help with something too. I want everyone across the land to be able to smile.
Yes, I expect great things, my trusty advisor.
Yeah. Thank you, Your Majesty. Oh, thank you, Your Majesty.
We should be the ones thanking her. Feels like I can see the entire country's future in her smile.
Everyone!
Long time no see. How have you been?
As we find ourselves afield, I thought I might visit Alsace myself.
Hold on a tick. Those people there? Surely not.
Naturally, we're drawing attention. We didn't all have to go at once.
Needn't fuss, old thing. It's been too long since we were all together again anyway.
Lady Tuna, did she really come all this way in a runner? Would have asked His Majesty to pop over and bring you back with a teleport or two.
The unmitigated nerve.
Oh, it's fine. I wanted to take in our country as it is. It's definitely a little rougher outside the capital's walls. There's still traces of melancholia around, and the odd human roaming about.
We're sending soldiers out for every incident we can. But it's not easy to hear the voice of the people from more distant regions.
I guess it's obvious. But just because you're king now doesn't make you suddenly all-seeing.
A lesson I learned last year. In the end, I was blind to a great deal of this world. Never would have learned if I hadn't pushed out the door and seen it with my own eyes.
A year ago, I would have just said we could fly over ourselves. I mean, let's be real. The capital isn't going to fall apart if we just sneak over for a little tour, is it?
Of course not. We specifically put precautions in place to keep things running.
Yet it has only been 1 year. We cannot be too complacent too soon, lest the dissidents seize on the opportunity.
Oh, there he is! Over there! See? I told you, that's His Majesty, innit?
Might have been a bit too obvious.
Oi there, Your Majesty!
You dare hoy the king, you swine?
Steady on, Hulkenberg, calm. You needn't draw steel on the poor fellow. We're the ones who indulged in this little day trip.
Your Majesty, thanks for all you do, really. Have to say, my life's a lot easier now.
There's more work to do every day, but we're in this together. We believe in you.
Everyone's so supportive. Kind of brings back memories from last year.
Rather. It's the sort of thing to get a chap all misty-eyed over the past. What a journey it was.
Looks like we're drawing a crowd. Time to get back to work.
Indeed. A veritable mountain of tasks awaits us, and I will see it crested.
And not long after, the new year dawned.
A journey? Are you really planning on leaving us?
There's more I have to see. With my own eyes.
You want to know what's going on in the world, huh? Well, I guess you are the king.
Sounds like fun, but a daily jaunt down to the slums is one thing, and a proper journey is quite another. You're a king now, lad. You've got the people's expectations on your shoulders. It's all right to just sit on your throne and mind the home front, you know?
I want to do what I can for the people. If that's not kingly, then the crown's just slowing me down.
Come on, this is no time for jokes.
Ever the fearless gadabout, eh? Well, I take your point back. Magla and the humans make a fine barometer for the anxiety still swirling in the country. So you go out and give it a proper survey, where it is and how much is there. If people can't face their anxieties, they can't keep their eyes forward. And if they can't do that, we'll have a bally hard time moving forward as a nation or a people. So you want to get a better grasp of it all. That's your most important duty as a ruler. That's what you're thinking, eh?
Right.
If that was your plan, you could have just said so.
Sounds like a fine idea to me. A proper spot of fun, besides. Wouldn't expect any less from our king and captain. Well, since I'm the bally court engineer, I've no choice but to come along. I'm the only driver fit to maneuver the Royal Skyrunner after all. Yes, here begins our quest anew. Let us sally forth upon our... hello? Are you not listening to me?
Sire, you've really got to stop chasing these ideas all on your own. You'll be the death of us.
Once again, sire, I've asked you countless times to give word if you're to leave the castle. Such caprice.
Nurse, don't tell me you called for them beforehand.
Saved us a bit of time, eh? Though, hello, what's this? I count only 2 of the 6 partisans. Short a few spears.
For my part, I believe 'tis unrealistic for all of us to depart the capital together.
Oh, so you have no plans to stop our little adventure, eh?
Hulkenberg and I talked it over. We decided that if you insist on going, we'd rather go with you than stop you.
Are you sure about this?
I was thinking back to our last fight with Luis. So many people supported us, but not for any high-minded ideals or arguments.
They were supporting us because we were actively fighting a monster on their behalf. In the end, people make choices based on their personal experience and emotion. Even if decided justly and supported by prosperity, the people may struggle to trust a king whose face they do not know. An invisible ruler is no cure for their fears.
Right. I'm not opposed to the idea of getting out into the world again. Really, it might be the wisest move to make sure you're a king everyone knows.
Still, this early into the new year? 'Tis never a dull moment in your Majesty's employ.
Bit of a smaller party than we last set out with, huh? But it's a pleasure to be on the road again with you.
Okay, but can we really afford to have both our general and the Royal Guard's captain coming along for this?
'Tis natural course for the Royal Guard to accompany the king. And I trust my corps is not so feeble that it will fall apart in my absence.
We'll make it work. Got to learn to trust others and delegate, right? We'll just have to lead by example.
Right then. Let's go.
You once heard my voice and answered a query in kind. Is fantasy a powerless creation? That timeless question. So long as life remains in the world, we seekers all shall search for our answer. But he will find his. Of that I am certain. And it is thanks to you for believing in and guiding him. That was the true purpose of my royal magic, you know. To seek and obtain guidance from denizens of a land beyond ours. A land that has not yet lost hope. And it was you who answered the call. Armed with your hope, armed with the power of fantasy, you rose in glory. Such courage, such whimsy, and yes, what thrills. You have my sincerest thanks.
Feels familiar. It's been far too long.
Aye, the wind feels an echo of days past.
Unusually poetic for you.
They're awful, aren't they? They would have left us behind. Oh.
Well, I'm not certain we're in a position to talk, having followed straight after, saying we could just teleport back.
Well, hey, we figured the kids might want to change your scenery, like.
Wow! Amazing!
Poetic indeed. That the scepter's absence restored order to Magla, and even greenery to the sands.
I'll say, I definitely like this view better.
Let's go.
Dear guest, from a world I shall never know. In your eyes, I know our journey was ultimately a fiction. However, I hope your memories of this fantastical adventure burn as bright in your reality. I hope the promise of our world echoes in you. With all my heart, I hope that fantasy gives you strength.
Look at that. The rubble's just bait for tourists now.
I never expected a view like this.
Let's see it all. Let's see the world.
Yeah.
A new journey now beckons. In days of eld, the people prospered and perished in turn. Struck by their ways, I wrote a book of my dearest ideas. A tale of fantasy. In my vision, they placed their trust, and so the kingdom breathed new life.
The strength to believe in the unknown, that can change everything. Without a doubt, you will face all sorts of trials ahead. But carry onward with all your heart. Onward, fearless, into a world unknown.
Such a countenance! So you truly are the Prince Reborn. I must say, you and your father are cut from the same cloth. Quite unpredictable as death looms.
What of you? Is this hornless form your own true being?
I'll say this here for your own good, Luis. Hand over the royal scepter. Only the one who has earned the people's support is fit to be king. You and us. We can still end this without more bloodshed.
No path forward is bloodless. The king may have avoided it, but the people will only shed his share. That has been this country's crime for too long. Those in power exact the price of their greed from the people, then preach that such pain is a natural trial to be overcome. The indolent powers of this land have poisoned it with their lies. There is no cure but destruction.
Who's the real charlatan here? You turn people into monsters and convince them it's salvation. Even Sorba, your most loyal vassal, you twisted into a monster. You promise protection to your devoted, yet always fall short of the mark.
I have never lied. I swear upon my name, it is one of the greatest trespasses I can imagine. Have you never wondered why the king's magic is so strong and forth? Or why the royal scepter can only be used by those who bear the public's favor? One royal hand clutching one bejeweled rod does not alone accomplish such wonders of magic. But what if it drew Magla not from its wielder, but from the masses? That is the truth. The royal scepter is a divine relic that absorbs Magla from people across the kingdom. And thus, the royal magic's power is near inexhaustible. Such has been the royal family's tradition for centuries, generations upon generations. Do you know what this means? Magla is mortal anxiety, which means that the people of this country now have no choice but to perpetually direct their anxiety to the king, simply to stay safe.
Absurd. And how do you explain the people of the capital going mad?
It was no madness that took them. The Magla spews from their helpless hearts at a rate far greater than the scepter can absorb. Hence the stagnation. The behavior now on full display is their inborn, true nature. When they cannot control their fears, they lash out at neighbor and outsider alike. And that is mortal weakness.
That's who they really are.
In a world like this, order built on mutual understanding is but a dream within a dream. Before we achieve resolution, the people must be corrected. On the day the late king's magic fades, I will shape the royal magic anew. All the Magla gathered over these months of turmoil will be restored to the people. Those who can overcome it will be reborn as new humans. Thus, we achieve our first round of natural selection. Our first step towards a world truly fair and just.
Natural selection? New humans? What absurd delusions.
Delusions? You witnessed how the prince lost his very self to my spell, and then re-emerged with powers and will burning ever brighter.
You mean you would do to the people exactly what you did to him? You would use the royal magic to inflict such horrors on all the crown's subjects?
Those who follow me and accept the rule of power will surely survive by virtue of their own will. But if they give in to fear, yes, they will lose both form and mind. That is what it means to protect those who follow. It is not a salvation given of empty charity, but earned through the providence of power.
Then, that's your true ambition. That's why you sent Sorba to the royal funeral. You never even wanted the throne. It was all for the royal scepter.
The shows of power, terrifying the people. It wasn't just manipulation. You justified all of that.
The man would turn all people into humans. It defies all sense.
Worry not. You've proven you're more than worthy. I've little doubt you'll survive the first culling and move on to the new world. You mentioned earlier that we might still resolve this without bloodshed. Then, I put the same offer to you. Join me, Prince. Born of Elden blood, welcoming anyone regardless of tribe. It is no coincidence that you and I take inspiration from the same book.
Don't let him sway you, Your Highness.
I know you detest injustice as I do. Come with me. Let me lend you my power, and together we will change the unfair world we seek to destroy. Should you deny me, then what? How would you fix this country? You must have seen it everywhere you traveled. Tradition, superstition, family honor, and all those struck down unjustly in the name of such authorities. The only cure for such suffering is a simpler world, in which strength triumphs over pain. It is not a solution without cruelty. But surely the fairness it would restore to our lives is worth any sacrifice. Come with me, and we can realize this dream. What say you?
You're absolutely right.
What? Are you serious?
There is logic in his words, but...
Please tell me you're lying.
Is there no way left to oppose him? Is that what you believe?
How to end up like this? Damn! What in the world is going on?
No!
A wise decision.
No! Prince! Your Highness!
At this point, what can we do but try to change our perspective? Maybe this is better than prolonging the cycle of injustice.
What are you saying? Isn't that your cue to make an impassioned plea?
It's out of our hands now. It wasn't long ago I was living alone in an empty cavern. I'll have to appreciate that this will be better than that.
I don't believe this.
No one else seems to have objections.
Wait! This is not...
Why the agitation? I did say you would all survive this. Though, considering how you falter now, perhaps some may fall short of salvation. Trivial, nonetheless. Behold, the new world dawns.
Afterwards, the nation was transformed. It became a world of humans, with both Luis and the prince taking equal hand in its creation. On the day of that world's birth, it was also thus decided. All known history of the world before would henceforth be remembered as the tale of the fallen. As for what became of the world that followed, to the humans, the question is irrelevant.
This way.
No.
Your Highness.
Why?
I didn't realize anyone still remained to weep over this child. Gallica! You've returned!
Milady Gruade. It's been a long time.
May I ask who this is?
She is the chiefess of this village. The Hermitess Gruade.
She was kind enough to shelter the entire organization when His Highness fled to these woods.
I can't believe he's gone. I'm just some parapus orphan from the slums. I was never supposed to outlive any prince. Was he killed here?
No. It all happened in the bunk room in the back. We moved him here to the altar once all was quiet. I don't know if you'd believe me, but I received a revelation. Should the prince die, his body should be kept safe and still here until the rightful day comes, even if the boy is but a bastard sired by that despicable man. He is still Her Majesty's son.
Despicable? What, you mean the king? Wait, who's Her Majesty?
Do you know nothing of the child's mother? The boy was not brought across borders to us. He was born here, in the ancient sanctum. His mother was our past chiefess, the queen of our elder tribe. She was a flower amidst the forests, a woman of such beauty, grace, and kindness. She saved this child from the flames, and it cost her her life. Her death is on that man's hands. Like a piper, he wandered in and seduced the young queen with his idealistic tales. But he failed to protect his family and died powerless. The village was only set ablaze because the boy was in the way of the Sanctus Church's designs on the throne. And that insipid king could do nothing to stop them. But you see, this boy, His Highness the Prince,
looks so much like Her Majesty. And so... You there, boy. Are you perhaps... No, it can't be. And yet...
Is something amiss, Milady Gruede? He is one of Gallica's allies. His loyalty stands with His Highness, and he has risked much in the prince's name.
Whoa! What's with the formal introduction? You were the one who gave us our orders in the first place.
Hurry. Hey, are you okay?
The time has come. Here thou camest to the end of thy journey. This secret place was home to thee. Now remember thy path thus far. Walk thy life's road and see it anew. I have been waiting for thee to overcome thy trials. Long have I waited for thy return. Know this, his life is not yet ended. It all started on that ill-fated day when the usurper thought to extinguish his light. Before he fades away, recount all thou hast seen and felt, all thou hast gained in thy journey's course. Gallica and thee sought to take the head of Luis, but thy efforts came to naught. So, ye moved instead to join a tournament to decide the land's king. Though thy plan was reckless, thou didst win the trust of the people by the support of peers and subjects alike. Thus, thou didst declare thyself the prince. After overcoming many obstacles, thou didst finally lift the prince's curse. Yet by the cruel machinations of another, the young prince, thy dream stands unfulfilled. Thou art adrift in the depths, and despair hath claimed thee. Oh, alas! I believed thee ready to realize the truth, ready to confront thy truest trial.
The prince and the hope that rested upon him was no more. The banner they strove to raise fell to ruin. Unity forged among allies and promised to the people was a fleeting hope. The opportunity passed. Only Luis, the sworn enemy, remained to take the throne. And then, inevitably, the day came. The authority of the king's magic, along with the royal scepter, were passed into Luis's wanting hands. That was the day fantasy died. No one knows what became of the kingdom thereafter. All that is certain is that none of their names, not even those of the heroes, passed into history. All else vanished, untold.
You've lost everything, and yet still here you stand. I must say your audacity is almost admirable. However, you rejected me, and I will not relinquish the royal scepter. Since we cannot come to terms, we can only decide this through battle. I have but one final question. Prince, do you wish to stop me? Or do you wish to be king? What is it you truly want?
I want to stop you.
I see. Then I too will fight you with all that I am. For the sake of this country. But it hardly matters now. My ascension is complete. With my own hands, I will tear apart these lie-laced dreams and bury the past. Here ends the royal bloodline and the legacy of the archetypes. We stand on the threshold of a new dawn, a new age.
I can't listen to any more of this. What new age? What do you know about him? All you do is destroy. You refuse to believe in dreams. That's why you can't believe in anything that's gradual, complicated, and slow to change. All that means is that you give up on everything. You'll never beat us. You're nothing but a coward trying to escape this reality for one you made up.
The time for words has passed. So be it.
Such intense magla!
The quintessential force of the archetype. Is this all?
Such strength! How? It's happening so quickly!
Behold! This is the Royal Scepter's potential. Resist no longer. As I said, I would rather not force needless death upon you. Embrace it once more. Take your true form and become worthy of my new world. You are unfazed by the melancholy. Yet you thirst. Drink deep of the magma.
Oh no! Not again!
What?
Stop! No! No! This can't be! Wake up! I said wake up! Hey! Please!
My obstacles are clear. The boy
Open your eyes!
is no more.
Wake up! Please! You have to wake up.
Where? Are you awake now? I summoned you just in time. Do you remember what happened? What you've done?
I ripped out my...
I'm frankly amazed you would go to such lengths, even to fight back against the spell. If I hadn't saved you, you really would be dead. But rest assured, we're finally safe. As for where we are far, far away from that hellish world. Do you remember the first time we met? I was sure you would find a clue in your journey that might reveal where in the world this place is. So I believed anyway, but I was wrong. From the start. This place is... It was never of that world to begin with. No. Maybe there's a better way to put it. This is a place that exists between reality and fantasy. In other words, the world we've been living in is fantasy. The journey was all an illusion.
An illusion?
There's nothing but despair in that world. And it will never get better. It's an endless, painful, irredeemable hell. I'd always believed that creating a utopia was possible. And if there was desire, then I thought maybe one day someone would achieve it. But I came to realize I was mistaken. In the end, fantasy is just that. A fantasy. But all that primordial chaos only exists in that world. The world of reality is nothing like that. Really, it's an environment you should know quite well. You've come to know so much of it already. Through text on a page. Now, behold!
Isn't this?
Indeed. It's the world I wrote accounts of in my novel. Until now, you've thought this world a mere fantasy. But it's not.
So the world I know is all an illusion. And the world of the novel is... reality?
Surely you already know. There is no deadly magic, no prejudice between its people. Now, all you have to do is admit that everything you've been through has been nothing but a story, just a fantasy. Then this can be your perfect reality. Your journey of revolution was just a passing dream. Let me take you back to reality, child.
Can you really do that?
You don't have to worry. As long as you can accept that this place is real, everyone will be safe. That world is past any point of redemption. Change is impossible. The royal magic was supposed to be the turning point, but it was all for nothing. In the end, people don't want their world to change. They just want someone to be a sponge for their infinite anxieties. That's all. You can't blame Luis for wanting to end that cycle. How could anyone accept that they lived in a world that miserable?
I understand. Yes. You're exactly right.
No! Open your eyes!
Indeed. In the end, fantasy and reality cannot intersect. The reprieve of a dream ends at the real world's borders, powerless to change it. You've done well. No one can blame you for choosing the truth. Then let's be on our way. There is no need to cling to the husk of a world that's already rotted away. All things must end in their due time.